Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a while since I last put a video up, but I've been at university for the past year and it's all been a little bit hectic, so I haven't quite had time, but I've returned now and today I'm going to chat to you about my first year at university and my experiences with it, and hopefully I can give any of you guys who are thinking of going to university this coming year or the next years a few tips on what I do differently next time. So firstly I'm going to start talking about halls. Now I think the biggest thing that scared me when I was coming to university was the thought of moving out of my house and living with different people that I didn't know and living in a different room and sleeping in a different bed, and it can appear quite overwhelming, but actually my halls experience was the complete opposite of that. I made friends with my flatmates really quickly, and I think the most important thing I would say to someone who's moving into halls is to try and talk to your flatmates as soon as possible, because if you leave it longer, the longer you leave it the more awkward it gets. And we'd already created a Facebook chat for our halls group, so we already kind of knew each other roughly. So when I first moved in, I recognised a girl that I knew called Alex, and I was like, oh hi, I know you, and like straight away we had like a connection and a bond. And we also set up to make like a group lasagna as well for our first meal, which was really good at getting everyone talking and chatting and forming those really important bonds. And like one of my other flatmates like walked in and made everyone a cup of tea, for example. Like that was a really good way to get to know her and everyone. Yeah, little things like that. And also another thing, bring a doorstop with you, because I brought a doorstop and it just shows to people that your door's open, they can come in whenever they want, because it's very easy at university to just shut your door and be excluded. And sometimes, sometimes I did feel like that. I felt like I wanted to do it time to myself, but at the same time, they can become your family, and I feel like my flatmates did. So, you know, even though you might feel a bit lonely, you've still got your family, your flatmates, for support, which was really important for me. And also our flat had like lots of theme nights as well. Like we had like pizza nights on Tuesdays before we went clubbing, which is a really good excuse for everyone to get together and socialise, and like film nights as well, which were really cute, which just made the whole thing seem really homey and like, like I was back at home, which was really nice, but at the same time you still had that bit of independence, which was really great. So yeah, a lot of people said to me they were so surprised at how well our flat got on, because usually in flats there's a few people who don't get on or don't socialise as much, and we did have two international students who were a bit more distant, mainly because they couldn't speak English very well. But apart from that, most of our flat was really tight, and the people who've come to our pre-drinks and talked to us have really picked up on that, which is really great. And then in relation to the course, my course was environmental sciences, which I think was definitely the right option for me, as I thoroughly enjoyed my course and all the content within it. And it's so great on your course to meet people who have the same interests as you and the same passions as you, which was really fab for me, because I made a lot of good friends on my course who, have the same mindset as me and believe in the same things, which is really fab. Although I would say the field trips were a really like big stepping stone for me, because like the first introductory field trips I'd really recommend, like if you do a course like mine, like geography or biology or like a science, it's really like I'd recommend going to field trips, because it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm hungover, I don't want to go on a field trip like today. But like I definitely would, because I met a really good friend of mine, Zoe, on a field trip, and yeah, like that changed my life for the better, because she's a lovely person, and then through that I met all of her friends, and and it all kind of yeah, went upwards from there. But yeah, definitely go on field trips, because it also helped me get to know my local area around Norfolk and Norwich as well, which is lovely. And also there was a field trip like just towards the end of the year, which was really like quite important for me, um, because like you really get to know people across that week, and you really make really strong bonds with people. And I actually met my boyfriend on that field trip, which was really fab, obviously. So it's, you know, it's definitely worth doing because it's a really memorable experience and you feel so much closer to everyone. Like after that field trip, I came back into my next lecture and I just felt like a sense of like belonging, like for the first time in a while, like I belonged, like they were like connections for me, which was really lovely. Um, what else? Oh, the obvious, which I didn't do, make notes after every lecture. I did this for about 3 weeks, uh, and then it all went a bit wrong. But you know, if you can, do try because in my revision for my exams like last month, yeah, it didn't work for me, and I had so many lectures that I didn't really understand. Obviously, I've been to them, but I didn't understand them because I hadn't made notes. So either like when you're in the lecture, sit and just absorb it, or make notes as you go. But yeah, definitely write up the mark afterwards if you can, because it does really help in the long term, like quite a lot. So yeah. What else? Oh yeah, start revising early. Again, I didn't do that, but it would have helped me out a whole load if I'd have started revising earlier. And I made loads and loads of posters and put them all over. Oh, sorry, put them all over my wall. And so every time I went to bed each night, I saw all my posters, and it really helped me a lot in a lot of my exams. So that was quite fab. Oh, and the nightlife. That's obviously quite an important part of university. Now, in my hometown of Bury St Edmunds, which is where I am now because I'm back home for summer, but there isn't much of a nightlife, and I feel like maybe that put me off clubbing because I went out on a club night and it was quite quiet and a bit weird, and there's some very creepy guys, and it just put me off. So I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy clubbing when I went to university, just because yeah, like I wasn't really that kind of person, but like maybe it's because of the people I was so close to, or I don't know. But the club at the UEA is called the LCR, and it's really really close to all the university accommodation, which is fab because it meant we could have pre-drinks at our flat and then walk literally like a minute, and then we'd be there. And I absolutely loved clubbing at university in my first year. Like in the first term, I didn't go out as much, but like towards like the end of the year, I was going out every Saturday night and every Tuesday night when I could, and I absolutely loved it. And you know, also it's important to remember that you shouldn't feel pressurized to drink. University is can feel like a very big drinking culture, and there's a lot of drinking cultures around university. But personally, I'm not a big drinker. I'm quite a lightweight, as many of my friends will probably tell you. But so I don't tend to drink an awful lot. My flatmates were lovely in that, you know, they understood that you know, I maybe wouldn't be so good at drinking games and things, and when I needed to stop and have some water and have a break, they accepted that, and they were like, that's fine, that's cool, you just, you know, play with your water, you know, chill. And that was lovely. So yeah, you don't feel like at all like you have to drink, you know, if you don't want to. Like one of my flatmates doesn't drink at all and she still comes out, you know. So yeah, definitely don't feel pressurized because, you know, people will understand, and if they don't, then they're not really, you know, they're not really worth your time. um as for finances, which I suppose is on the minds of a lot of students at the moment, especially with the referendum results and everything, yeah, my finances, I did quite well actually because I'm a bit of a cheapskate, if you will, a bit of a Scrooge, in that I made a meal plan most weeks, so I knew exactly what I needed for each week. And I literally, I think I just did one. I did one. Oh, sorry, I got a message. I did one like shop during the entire week, and got all my stuff for the week, and then that was it. I didn't go back again, which I think saved me a lot of money in the long run because I didn't have to keep on going back and then getting sweets and chocolates and crisps and things. So yeah, that saved me a lot of money. And instead of going to Tesco's, I cycled on my bike to a well-known cheaper retailer, which I won't disclose here. There are other retailers available. So that really worked for me. But yeah, my tips are make a meal plan if you can, and just try and pop out once a week and go a big shop rather than lots of little shops, because that really helps. And then finally, would I do anything differently? No, I mean, I'd like to be corny and say no, because, you know, my experiences have changed the person I am, and I feel like I'm a much better person after them. But I would say that you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself, because you know, obviously I'm quite a reserved and shy person, and in my first few months at university, I was slightly, I wouldn't say I was like insular, but I was quite shy and reserved, and I kind of wasn't being completely myself, and I tried to be a different person. I tried than who I actually was, which is quite quirky and crazy and a little bit witty and weird. Um, but I found that once I started to relax around my flatmates and my course mates and, you know, start to show my true self, I felt a lot happier in myself and a lot more comfortable around those people. So, you know, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't try and be someone that you're not. I'm not saying I did that. I'm just saying that I was sort of keeping the sort of crazy ditzy person inside until quite a lot later. And I should have done that a lot earlier, because if I had, I'd have even better time. But yeah, so yeah, that's my experience at university. I went to the University of East Anglia, yeah, in case you want to look it up. But yeah, if you have any questions about university or anything to do with first year or parties or anything like that, drop them in the comments box below and I'll see what I can do. Might be another video if so. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely summer, and I'm sorry for, like, you know, leaving it quite a while. But yeah, I hope I'll hear from you soon, and I'll put another video up soonish, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will speak to you very soon.